12.2.6 Characteristics of Trigonometric Equations. Essential question: how do I use characteristics to graph trigonometric functions? Skill: I can identify characteristics of trigonometric functions. Identify the characteristics from the function, then graph the function. Here's our characteristics. The number of the front is the amplitude. So our amplitude on this example is 6. The midline is going to be this value, which in this case is also 6. The maximum value would be k plus a, so it'd be 12. The minimum is k minus a, that's 0. Then the period is 2 pi over b. Well, b is 1/2. Four pi. The horizontal shift, also known as the phase shift, is going to go right 3 pi. Now it says sine starts at the midline and cosine starts at the maximum. Well, this is cosine, so it's going to start at the maximum, which is 12. Let's graph each of these things. The midline is at 6. The maximum is at 12. The minimum's at 0. And we shift right 3 pi, so that is going to be where our maximum is. Let's label the x-axis in terms of pi. So 0 pi, 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and then 4 pi. 5 pi, 6 pi, and so on. So let's plot some points. If we plug in 0 for x, you'd have negative 3 pi over 2. And if we recall the points, negative 3 pi over 2, we go to right here, that's 0. 0 plus 6 is just 6. And then if we put in pi, we have negative 2 pi over 2, which is just negative pi. That's going to be negative 1, and then so negative 1 plus 6 is 0. And then if we had 2 pi, that would be a negative pi right here over 2. That'd be 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. And then we have our maximum point, 3 pi 12. And they'll follow a similar pattern for each next pi. So at 4 pi, it'd be at the midline. At 5 pi, it would be at 0. At 6 pi, it would be at 6 again, the midline. And then 7 pi, it will be at the max. So we have midline, minimum, midline, max. Midline, minimum, midline, and then max. And then it just keeps continuing that way, in that pattern. Each increment from midline to minimum to midline to max is just the period divided by 4. So as pi increments to go from each of these values. Try the other examples.